Greetings, Internet people. You're tuned into the Keep It Real RN channel. My name is Craig, and I'll be your host. And today I'm going to answer a question that was written by a subscriber, Holistic Care. Holistic Care wrote and asked, is it possible to work in the ICU and the ER at the same time? And my answer to that is yes, it is, because I've done it myself. And if you're starting out and you've never worked in the ICU or the ER, I suggest getting an ICU gig first. And the ICU gigs that would best prepare you for being in the ER would be working in a coronary care unit where you see a lot of STEMIs, or a medical ICU where you see a lot of COPD exacerbations and pneumonias and various and sundry things like that you would see a lot of walking into the ER, being brought into the ER by an ambulance. And I suggest doing that for about a year until you feel somewhat comfortable with it. And then when it comes to getting into the ER, there are several mechanisms that you can use to get in there. A lot of hospitals that you work in, all it takes is going down to the manager of the ER and tell her or him that you're interested in picking up some shifts down there, and they may be amenable to that, and they may even arrange somewhat of an orientation for you if you're willing to work there on a somewhat consistent basis. And by somewhat consistent, I think they may be expecting at least a couple of shifts a month, and the more the better. The other mechanism you can use is to work in the hospital's float pool. And a lot of nurses who work in critical care float pools also float to the ER in various and sundry hospitals. And that's another way to get into the ER. The way I got into the ER was the hospital I worked at got kind of slow for a period of time, and I was like to work a lot of overtime during that period of time in my life. And it was getting kind of slow, and I wasn't able to get overtime. So what I did was I picked up a per diem job at another hospital that wasn't too far away. And they had a pretty good deal there that if you worked per diem there, and if you selected 2 areas to work in, you got an extra $5 an hour. And so I worked the ICU, and they said, you can work the ER as your second area, and you get an extra $5 an hour. And so I was working at this place probably at least 3 times a month, maybe even 4 times a month. And I found that I really liked working in the ER. And it was actually worth it to me to not take the $5 anymore and say, I didn't even want to work in the ICU anymore. I just want to work in the ER, because my other gig was an ICU gig. So it was really a kind of a nice balance, actually. And doing it that way, I got to spend some time in my native environment, and then I got a chance to go to somebody else's environment and meet some new people and do something new. And I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the people that I worked with at the ER at this particular hospital. So there you have it. So please rate this video and leave a comment below. If you like this video, share it with your friends. In fact, share it with your friends even if you think it sucks. Hit the subscribe button up there or down there, and join us as a passenger on the Keep It Real RN Express. And until next time, keep it real.